Hi everyone, Tresie Smith here. I am so grateful to be here today to deliver this message to you all. I'm so abundantly blessed, thanking God for all his many blessings, great and small, for my family and for each and every one of you, and all the blessings that he has for you, and the blessings that he has for my family as well. Well, I wanted to take the time out today to share a message with you. It was placed upon my heart to deliver this message to you. I wanted to speak about having a zillionaire mind. Now, I know you're like, okay, Kantrese, okay, I know about a millionaire, I know about a billionaire, I maybe even know about a trillionaire. What in the world is a zillionaire? Now, when I was around 18 years old, I remember, because I was about 17 or 18 years old, and I remember I was doing some research because I was like, you know what? I had this thing going on with the word infinity. I always want to know, okay, what's infinity? How far is infinity? I know it's forever, but really, is something really forever? Does something really go on and on and on and on? And so I was doing all this research, and if you're like me, I want to know things in terms of money. So I did some research, and I remember, I researched millionaire, a billionaire, a trillionaire, all those different terms. And, I saw that, wow, zillionaire is way more than a millionaire, a billionaire, a trillionaire. Wow, But, I was young, and it kind of like, laid away and hid in the back of my mind. And it wasn't until recently that I was actually on a call and that term was brought up. And it immediately brought back some thoughts and feelings back into my mind and to my body and to my heart. And it made me think, oh yeah, I remember when I was researching that, so then all these thoughts started flooding, and, my mind, the wheels in my mind started turning. And, I said, I need to start looking into that again. Basically, I know you're like, okay, get to the point, Tresie. What is a zillionaire? Well, a zillionaire, the Webster dictionary of it is an immeasurably wealthy person. Yeah, of course, Webster always comes up with these fancy, definitions. But my definition, or to me, it means an infinitely wealthy person. Infinitely wealthy person. I already told y'all I have this infinite, this thing with the word infinite, and what got me so set on talking to you guys about having a zillionaire mind is because I've learned that as people, we tend to always limit ourselves. And I saw that I was limiting myself because I kept saying, oh, I want to be a billionaire. I want to be a billionaire. I at least skipped over millionaire, so I'm going to be a billionaire. And then I was like, hold on, there's a trillionaires out there. And then I, like I said, after I heard this recent call and that term zillionaire was brought up again, it made me remember all that research I had did in the past. And I was like, you know what? I am not limiting myself. I am going to be a billionaire. I am going to be a zillionaire. I am a zillionaire. And so with saying that, I know your next question is, can anyone achieve it? Actually, yes. And you'll actually see below this video, there's going to be another video about a gentleman who's actually only 26 years old, and he's a zillionaire. Like, seriously, he's a zillionaire. He started his own internet business at the age of 16. He's a high school dropout, made about over $40 million, by the age of 18. So I highly recommend that after you finish watching this video, that you definitely watch the video below this one. Or that you watch the video on my, if this is airing on YouTube, then you'll definitely have to click on the link to my blog to see it. But nonetheless, the quote that pops into mind is, whatever your mind can conceive and believe, it can and will achieve. So the answer to your question, can anyone achieve it? Yes, anyone can achieve it. I mean, clearly that 26-year-old definitely proves that. So, with saying that, you have to change your mindset. Your mind up here, your mindset needs to be changed. A lot of us have, different things pre-programmed into our mind. You need to look at the influential mind programming that you have. There are 3 key things that I want to go over with you, so that you are aware of the different things that are influencing your mindset. The first thing is verbal programming. Think back to when you were younger. How often did you hear, money is the root of all evil, money doesn't grow on trees, money doesn't buy happiness, or, money talks, or even the most famous one, we can't afford it. Those are different phrases, statements that have actually embedded into your subconscious mind. And, if you haven't noticed yet, it's affected your current situation, because you have that stuff embedded in your mind and you actually believe it. Again, thinking back to the quote, whatever your mind can conceive and believe, it will and can achieve. And if your mind is conceiving and believing that, we can't afford it, that, money doesn't buy happiness, and all those different phrases of that nature, guess what? It won't. You won't be able to afford it. You won't have the abundance that you're seeking and anything of that nature. So again, it's all about, your mindset. And the second concept is modeling. Think back to the habits of your parents, your grandparents, your great-grandparents, your aunts or uncles, anybody that has been influential in your life. Think about their habits and then look at your habits today. You will notice that a lot of their habits that they have, those people that influence you most, are actually, has embedded into your life, and you actually have taken upon some of those habits as well. So that's another thing that you have to watch out for, and then that's another thing that you're going to have to change. And the third concept is a specific incidents. Think back, what kind of experience, or what things did you actually experience, when you were younger, centered around money, around wealth, around rich people, things of that nature. A lot of times people associate bad things that happen with money. For example, I know some people I've seen and witnessed where an individual's relative passed away, and the relative was a millionaire, and that particular person never wanted to become a millionaire or billionaire because that person associated being a millionaire with dying. He said, oh, if I ever become a millionaire, I know I'm going to die. Either somebody's going to kill me for my money, or I'm going to die real quick. Because unfortunately that individual's relative did pass away at an early age. There was no health factors involved. So, so that's a very, negative spin to have on it. But that does happen. People tend to associate, when, wealth or money or rich people are involved, anytime something bad happens, they tend to associate bad things with money. And again, that's something that you need to watch out for, and you need to change those by getting rid of these things, by identifying the things that the different phrases and statements that have been said to you, by identifying the different habits that may have been passed on to you, by identifying the different experiences that you may have experienced growing up centered around these things, and then asking yourself, how did it affect me? How did it affect my current situation, who I am now? How does it affect my financial situation? And then you need to take forth the actions to change and adapt a new mind. That's the most important thing that you can do.